People say, oh, I'm addicted to my phone. How many of you ever said that? Oh, I'm addicted to my phone. Well, anyone who has a member of Gen Z in their life, that's roughly between the ages of 13 to 28, knows that tech addiction is becoming a real crisis. Hear me clearly now. That is for millions of families. I'm very much aware of the toll that this is taking on parents because 2 members of my own team are now struggling with their sons as we speak. One of them had to have her son, her 19-year-old son, removed from their home because when she tried to get him off of her phone, he started hitting her. So the obsession has reached a breaking point for a lot of people. So let's dive right into this. Adam Alter is a research psychologist and professor. Hi, Adam.
Hi.
Of marketing at New York University's Stern School of Business. And his New York Times bestseller is called Irresistible: The Rise of Addictive Technology and the Business of Keeping Us Hooked. Welcome, Professor Alter. So how bad is it? How bad is it out there?
It's pretty bad. It's bad in at least 2 respects. One is that it affects a huge number of people, as you said, millions. The Surgeon General report suggested that about 95% of teens between 13 and 17 are glued to their phones, usually using smartphones for social media purposes. And you know, the effects also are grave. For a lot of people, it means their social interactions are ruined or harmed greatly. They struggle to do work. They have issues within their families. And it's not just about 13 to 17-year-olds. We're talking about young adults and older adults as well. So it's a pretty serious problem that affects a lot of people, and the effects are pretty grave as well.
Are pretty grave. I mean, when I just described, one of my producers was sharing with me that she had to take her son out of the home, and he's now in some kind of rehab program. They realized that he was not attending classes. He wasn't, going to school. He wasn't doing anything except gaming on his phone.
Yeah, and you hear this story, writ large times a million or millions. It's a very common story these days.
Dr. Caitlin Regehr is an associate professor and program director of digital humanities at the University College of London. Her upcoming book is called Smartphone Nation. Caitlin, what do you want parents in Gen Z to know about what's going on?
So I come from a tech perspective. I research how the tech works, okay? I start with the premise that almost everything else we consume is regulated. The food we eat, the medication we take, the cars we drive. We have consumer protections around these things. We don't have the same consumer protections around the digital space because we're not the consumers of tech. We're the product. Or rather, our time and attention is the product which is being sold to advertisers. And what my research looks at is the way in which, through this attention economy, hate, harm, and disinformation is often algorithmically prioritized.
Hate, harm, and disinformation. So
because it is more attention grabbing.
So we're being programmed, we're being fed that, we're being conditioned, and most people don't even know it.
That's right. And so what I do is I develop tools so that we can step away from being a passive product that just consumes into being an active participant. And that's something we all can do. We can be much more intentional with our usage.
We can be. I heard you got interested when you read that Steve Jobs and a lot of other people who were responsible for where we are in the culture with technology don't let their own kids use it.
Yeah, I mean, I found that absolutely striking. It violates a very basic rule in business that, if you're the executive from Coca-Cola or McDonald's or any other company, it's assumed that you probably consume that product as well. That's how you demonstrate that you stand behind whatever that product is. And here you see this one case where there's this massive departure from that rule, that a lot of the tech titans, even for the last 15 or 20 years, have been very purposeful about keeping those same products that they say publicly we should all be using out of their homes. So they won't let their kids use the same products that we all are not only letting our kids use, but we've been encouraged to let our kids use.
Mm-hmm. Say again, Caitlin, we're being programmed for harm.
So the reason is that disinformation is often more attention-grabbing than truth.
Of course, yes.
And harm or things that hook into our most vulnerable points will often hold us there. just a little bit longer. And that harm will be different for every person in this audience, right? We might think about the fact that we live in information silos. We might think about the fact that we were never meant to look at our faces or our bodies as much as we do. We might think about the way in which it has changed sex and relationships, but ultimately, the thing that links all of these problems together is an unethical attention economy that is seeking to hold us at any cost. And that's where this problem sits. And so what I want to encourage us to do is be aware of this structure and then start to intercept it. Start to game your algorithm. Start to take control.
Okay, I want to also bring in Dr. Christina Breezing, is an assistant professor of psychiatry in the Division of Substance Use Disorders at Columbia University and a research scientist at New York State Psychiatric Institute. Dr. Breezing, what is happening in the brains of young people who are addicted to tech? What's actually going on in the brain?
So technology addiction is a behavioral addiction. And behavioral addictions have the same brain changes and clinical symptoms as addictions to drugs or alcohol. The hallmark brain change of an addiction is a desensitization to the release of dopamine in response to a reward. And so essentially what happens is, as a result of that, we develop something called tolerance, which means the same reward doesn't give that same pleasure, doesn't give that same reinforcing effect.
It's like the same hit of Coke, you need more Coke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so as a consequence, you spend more time seeking that rewarding, pleasurable experience. And as a result of spending more time, say in the case of a tech addiction, on your phone, you're spending less time in meaningful relationships. You're spending less time focused on your schoolwork. You're spending less time thinking about work.
So what is the dopamine hit you're getting from the phone? What is it? What are you getting?
So dopamine is released in the brain in a way that creates pleasure. It feels good. People like to feel good.
Yeah.
And so when you start feeling good, you spend a lot of time. It outcompetes other important things. If it's tech addiction, it could be gaming.
Okay.
So people could be getting to the next level of a game. Games are designed to make things rewarding in a very particular way. They usually use intermittent reinforcing rewards so that you can't expect when you're going to get the hit of dopamine, which tends to be more reinforcing. Social media is designed to get likes and have social engagement. That tends to be more rewarding. And then adult content creates high-level arousal and emotionality and large hits of dopamine.
Well, we're going to get to adult content later, but that allows you to, even though you get aroused, I think you then need more intense arousal, right?
Correct.
More intense things to happen.
Correct. Because essentially that desensitization is what leads to the need for more intense experiences in order to have that same rewarding, pleasurable sensation in the body and in the brain.
Whoa.